I spoke with Dan Gilbert, the billionaire founder of Quicken Loans and owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, who has spent over $1 billion investing in his hometown of Detroit.
You know, there's 100% residential occupancy in both downtown and midtown. The young people who are coming here can't find a place.
Someone who works closely with Gilbert is Andrew Yang. He's the founder and CEO of Venture for America, a program that recruits college grads to work at startups in some of these low-cost cities like Detroit. He's also author of Smart People Should Build Things, How to Restore Our Culture of Achievement, Build a Path for Entrepreneurs, and Create New Jobs in America. And Andrew joins us now in the studio this morning. Andrew, great to have you with us. And in fact, Dan Gilbert has invested, $1.5 million in your fund.
Yeah, that's right. Dan's one of our biggest champions and partners, particularly given what he's doing in Detroit. He's a fantastic champion for us.
So what would you do with that money?
What we do is we recruit engineering graduates from schools like Johns Hopkins, Duke, Brown, other schools to head to Detroit and work at startups to help them grow and hopefully create the next generation of a successful company there.
Okay, so that sounds good, Andrew, but how do you actually get them to do it?
Well, we actually had over 10 times as many applicants for the program this past year. We had over 1,000 applicants for about 100 spots. Because if you get into this program, you're going to be on a path to be mentored by someone like Dan and potentially become the CEO of your own company, within the next several years.
Okay, so where have you placed people? Tell me sort of what companies are hiring.
Sure. Well, in Detroit, there's an organization called Next Energy that's working on renewable energy sources, and one of the engineers from Duke, Charlie Moulthrop's heading there. There's a company called Mason that's working on a new cell phone design, and an engineer from Johns Hopkins is heading there. And 5 of our fellows are actually even starting companies in Detroit, having been there a couple of years, and now they're starting their own companies, in part funded by people like Dan.
Is this just Detroit, or you're talking about other cities as well?
We actually now operate in 12 cities around the U.S. Detroit, New Orleans, Providence, Baltimore, Cleveland. I could list them all, but it gets a little bit boring just to hear a list of cities.
Right. However, okay, Andrew, on the day that you come here, USA Today, which came out with a chart, a table of some of the most the high growth tech jobs, right? What counties basically are seeing the biggest and fastest growths in tech jobs? And as you can well imagine, San Francisco ranks as number 1. Then you've got San Mateo at number 2. Santa Clara is number 3. And then you get to number 4, which is really weird, Madison County, Alabama, and then Utah County, Utah, and then it gets all over the place. And you go anywhere from Nevada to I don't know, Florida or whatnot. But it drives home the point that the top 3 places that are growing jobs are still in California, in that area.
Sure. It's not a surprise. Startups are really difficult. You need a few things for them to take root and flourish. Team and talent, we think, is number 1. And the second and third are financial capital and also product market fit. And we think team and talent can actually drive both money and product market fit, because if you have the right people in place, investors will come and you'll be able to figure out the product over time.
Okay, so but that's the thing, how do you lure them to a place like Detroit or going to Cleveland or wherever? How do you lure them there?
Well,
is it throwing money at them?
Well, Venture for America, they're actually generally taking a much lower compensation rate than they could command here on Wall Street or other places. But we give
them a chance. So they're getting paid less?
They're getting paid less, certainly. I mean, it's not like we can match the kind of salaries that Goldman Sachs and other firms are offering. But what we offer is a chance to build something, which is something that young people desperately want to learn how to do. So if you join Venture for America, you end up getting trained by McKinsey and IDEO and other top firms, and then you go to a place like Detroit and you become part of the ground level of a new firm. And over the next couple of years, you learn how something gets built, and then you can potentially start your own. And we have a seed fund to invest in those fellows that decide to start their own companies. So it's a very appealing route for people that want to actually be entrepreneurs and learn how to.
And what's their obligation to you? I mean, what if they say, you know what, I really hate it here, and I actually want to leave?
Well, the commitment is to work in Detroit or Cleveland or Baltimore at the startup with the entrepreneur you've been matched with for 2 years. And if you do that successfully, then you become eligible for seed investment and other benefits.
And the biggest problem, just before we go, the biggest problem for companies that are based there and that are trying to recruit, I mean, obviously they're trying to get the talent, but what is the other big issue that they face?
You know, I think it's that people just don't know they exist, that these opportunities are somewhat obscure, and it takes someone like Dan to put them on the map and let people know that there are really interesting companies in Detroit, in Cleveland, in Baltimore.
They're just not on anybody's radar, essentially.
Yeah, because it's very expensive to get the word out there. I mean, you know, where you went to Penn, I mean, firms have to spend a lot of money and resources to send people to your campus in order to let you know that they're hiring.
All right, Andrew, thanks so much for joining us. Andrew Yang, the founder and CEO of Venture for America. And while Andrew Yang is trying to get people into tech jobs in cities like Detroit.
Put the money in our hands. Put the money in our hands. Put the money in our hands. Can we afford it? Yes. Will it cause inflation? No. Is it awesome? Yes. Is anyone trying to make it happen? Yeah, that guy.